Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you could hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, rock stars. I got Michael Jackson today. I was going to spare you guys. However, somebody is cutting the grass and doing the landscaping where I am, and he's blowing it. And I think that it's loud, so you'll be able to hear me better with the microphone. Any old excuse, huh? Y'all be like, any old excuse, Roxanne. All right, you guys, first story up. Let's talk about the snowstorm that we had here in Atlanta on Friday. Actually, we're going to be talking about a lot of natural events, natural disasters, if you will, for this video. First, let's talk about the snow, which was actually a pleasant surprise here in Atlanta. I didn't even talk about it in the last top of the blogs because I honestly did not believe that it was going to snow. You know, the last few times that they have said to expect snow here, you know, they put us on alert. They told us to stay home from work, don't go anywhere, don't be out on the roads. You know, we've had a few of these instances recently, last couple of years, as a matter of fact, and then we didn't really get any snow. We either didn't get any snow or we got a little bit of something, but not even enough to stick to the ground. So I was expecting it to be that way again this go around, but honey, the Lord was like, he got with Mother Nature and they was like, we got one for y'all asses today. I was shocked. I woke up, I opened up my curtains, and I could not believe not only was it big, fat, fluffy snowflakes, I mean, falling heavily, steadily. Like I said, it was definitely sticking to the ground. So full, I think they said we got right under 3 inches of snow, which is not a lot for, you know, people that get snow all the time. But of course, here in Atlanta, that definitely was an event. And it was enough snow to cover my deck, cover my front porch stairs. So yeah, you guys, it did happen, and it was actually very, very nice. I enjoyed it very much. The fact that we didn't have to go to work was just chef's kiss. And it was funny because they actually knew about this snowstorm ahead of time, because when we were in South Carolina, I was talking to Joe, and Joe was like, they say we having a snowstorm in 10 days. And I was like, how they telling us what we having in 10 days? They can't even get the shit right for the next day. But as far as the snowstorm was concerned, they definitely knew that it was happening, and they were accurate. So I enjoyed it. I sat and played my Steam Deck. I'm playing Coral Island for any of you guys that might be interested. I played that all day. I didn't have to work. I didn't have to do nothing. Mister was out of town. I didn't have to cook. I mean, I ain't cooked in a long time, you guys. But I mean, I just totally chilled at the house with the animals. It was a great day. And it was nice because it stuck to the ground. I let Blue run around in the snow. He enjoyed it. We didn't have any really any catastrophes because, like I said, the city was definitely ready. Everybody was ready this time. The stores, you know, everybody. When I was going home Thursday night from work, I had stopped at Wayfield, and it was a packed house. The people was up in there, and I'm assuming that all grocery stores probably looked exactly the same, you know, just trying to prepare to be kind of snowed in for a couple of days. And the snow did stick around, but by that second day, the streets were pretty clear, so you were able to drive even though like it was still snow on people's grass and everything. One of my neighbors still has snow. Like if you have an area where the sun doesn't hit, that snow hasn't melted. So I have a little small area in my backyard, and some of my neighbors still have snow on their yard. Even though, well, it's cold today, y'all. It's 38 degrees right now. So anyway, but yeah, we had it. It was nice. And I think everybody did exactly what they wanted them to do, because the news pretty much has just been talking about the weather, but hadn't been talking about people being stranded or people being, you know, getting caught up in any type of dangerous situations. Everything, it went smoothly. So that was nice. I wish I could say the same for my West Coast brethren out there in Los Angeles. You guys, the fires are still going on. I just talked to Deborah yesterday, and she told me that the fires, I think they said the Palisades fire was like 14% contained. The fires range from like 8 to 15% range of controlled, amount of being controlled, which means that's not a lot. 14, 15% controlled really still feels like they don't have control of the fire. I know now they are also trying to find victims, people that, got caught up in the fire, maybe wasn't able to get out or whatever. And so now they're going through the different neighborhoods and looking for people. I think so far the count is up to 25 people that have passed as a result of those fires. There's 5 fires. No, I think it's 6 fires. I don't have all the names. I know it's a Palisades. I know it's a Kenneth. I know it's a, um, it's a bunch of different ones. I'm sorry, but there's 6 different fires in 6 different neighborhoods. Everybody is like just floored at the fact that these fires are all in completely different areas of Los Angeles. Like I told you guys before, that's for a couple of reasons. One, because the wind had kicked up so bad when it first started last Tuesday. Now they're saying that those winds, I don't know if they're going to be quite as strong as they were on the day that the fires actually started, but they are expecting some very strong winds again. The Santa Anas are kicking up, and they're saying that the Santa Anas are part of the reasons why the fires get to traveling, like the embers are in the air and they catch somewhere else. I also believe that there are people that are setting fires. I think there are copycat people out there that are trying to create even more mayhem and chaos and devastation and destruction there. Um, just to kind of turn it up a notch. I know in one of the areas they actually caught the person that was like in the act of trying to set a fire. I believe they beat his ass and held on to him until the police got there. Okay. So it's a mixture of both happening. There's a lot of finger pointing going on in LA right now because it's inevitable. People want to know who is responsible for this fire. Was there a spark that started in the brush? They're saying that somewhere in Palisades, I believe like in the Palisades, Malibu type of area up in those canyons somewhere, there was those real tall, I don't know what they call them. I want to say transistor. That is so not the word, but the tall structures, the tall metal things that have something to do with power. They was showing that at the top of this hill that it was on fire. Okay, and that people were looking at that fire, and that was like where they first saw a fire spark, and people were concerned about it. Because there were houses that were below wherever that was that started the fire. They're still saying, the company is saying that they don't believe that that's where the fire started. Of course, that's what the company would say. But sure enough, they have a video of people that was taking the video of where it looked like it may have started. That was like, people were concerned because they knew that their house was below there. And I believe most of those houses below that area ended up burning. So yeah, there's a lot of things, of course, politics has been entered in. They're blaming Gavin Newsom. They're blaming Karen Bass because of budget cuts, money that was not afforded to the fire department in Los Angeles. The fire chief out there, her name is Kristen Crowley. She's been very vocal on saying that the mayor's budget cuts affected them being able to properly do their job. Part of it is because they don't have as much water. There's been situations going on out there. They're talking about there's some private water owner It's funny, you don't even know these things exist until stuff like this happens. But there's this couple, the Resnicks, I think, that own like some reservoir out there that was on repair, so it had been taken offline, and so that water was not available to the people, as they needed to fight these fires. um so, they're blaming the fire department. What people don't understand about Los Angeles, you have the city of Los Angeles and then you have county of Los Angeles. So the Los Angeles County is huge. Okay. Los Angeles County stretches from the valley all the way down to the other opposite side, going, towards Orange County. So like Orange County, you guys are like, none of this matters, Roxanne. Like, we still don't know what you're talking about, but I'm saying that it is LA County is huge. There's many, 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 many cities that are in LA County. Okay, and it seems like they've added even more cities since I've moved, child. Because what is Crenshaw District? I mean, it was never called Crenshaw District when I was living there. It was just, we just lived over there. Okay, now it's Crenshaw District, and now it's this, and now it's So anyway, but what was I saying? Lost a train of thought just that fast, you guys. What was I saying about? Oh, so there's all these cities. So Karen Bass is not, I think that she is the mayor for like Malibu and Palisades, but for like Altadena, Pasadena, and going like in the other direction of where these other fires were, she's not even the mayor for those cities. Okay. So she's getting blamed for a lot of the things that she doesn't even really have any control over. I know that Khloe Kardashian had a lot to say, saying how they support Chief Crowley, and how, she could tell that Chief Crowley had tears in her eyes, and that's how she knew that she was telling the truth, that Crowley was, upset that she's not able to do her job because of budget cuts. Listen, I work in government. I totally know how it goes. Somebody is gonna get blamed. It don't do, and we don't give a fuck. Somebody needs to be the one that's in trouble for this. So it feels like Karen Bass might be a little bit of the scapegoat. But you know what? Two things can be true. People could have neglected their job and didn't do the right thing, didn't make the right choices. Um, there could also be budget cuts that happen inevitably. Sometimes it's not enough money to stretch to go around, and so people make decisions that they think maybe are working the best. Sometimes this personal decisions, and maybe it's something that they think is going to work best for that community. But like, you can make the wrong decision to send the money somewhere else, and then some shit like this happens. Like, this was like it looks like it could have been many reasons why. Okay, I'm saying all that to say is we ain't giving nobody no damn excuses. They don't give a fuck if they Republican or Democrat. Whoever is responsible for it, they need to be the ones that kind of get called to the carpet, because you have thousands of people who are homeless now. You have so much money. If you guys understood the money, like, if any part of California was gonna get hit, they was not gonna want Malibu, Palisades, Santa Monica, Brentwood. They was not gonna want them to get hit. The same way they was not gonna want San Francisco to get hit. Where the big money is in California, they do not want them to get hit, because that is so much tax money. It's so much money to insure, is so much money to replace, is so much out there, and I don't even know how it's going to be rectified right now, because you could have any stretch of Palisades, you can have just a block, okay, just one street, and them houses, one house could be $8, $9, $10 million. So just imagine if you had a block that had 20 houses on the street. That is a lot of money. So in Palisades lost thousands of homes, many, many, many acres, businesses, commercial, brick and mortar, homes, cars. It's So much stuff that was lost. I don't even know how anybody could even afford to replace any of that. I don't know how any insurance company would even be able to afford it. So this is a mess. This is something that the government, now the government has the money to do these things, because when the government needs to do things, sending money to other places and all that, they magically have the money. So you can best believe that the United States government does have the money to really help these people. Will it be done is what the question is going to be. Oh, it's going to be, they're going to help the people in certain areas. I got my good eye on whether or not they're going to help the people in all the areas. Okay. Wendell Pierce, Tyler Perry, they've been speaking out about insurance. You know, we know that the insurance companies there's out there just some months ago, from what they're saying, decided to drop their fire policies portions of their insurance from, you know, the people that they're covering, because it was too expensive. There was no way that if something happened in these areas, the insurance companies already realized that they would not be able to afford to cover it. So they did some kind of sweep and dropped a whole bunch of people their insurance coverage with fire. Okay, just a few months ago. Now we done turned around a few months later, and now the whole fucking place done burned down. Okay, it almost, you know, you can't help but be a little bit conspiracy theorist confused about this, because you might start feeling like it sure is awfully convenient that right after we cancel this policy, then all the shit done burned down. Okay, of course that's a natural thought, you know. Some people say it just happened to be at the wrong, you know, the right place, wrong time kind of thing. It just sort of depends on how you look at it. But yeah, whoever is responsible, if there is a person that is responsible, then yes, that person needs to come forward. But then there's also other things that happen. Like I told you guys, there's been a drought in LA for the longest, like so bad that they've been telling people that they need to not even have grass. Okay, like my dad was so offended. Like he could not believe that he had been requested to have a cactus garden, as opposed to having regular grass on. He was just like, a grass, a cactus, like sand. He was like, this is not Las Vegas. We're not in Nevada. I'm not doing that. My dad was like, no, I'm keeping my green grass. You know, my dad he loved his yard, you know. So, but that's how bad it is out there. People were getting rid of their yards and putting like like dry gardens out there, you know, just to have some sort of decorative landscaping out there and all. So, it's been bad. It's been super dry. Even though they get more rain now, still historically, Los Angeles is a very dry place. It never rains in Southern California. They didn't just make that song for nothing, you know. So it's just bad. But Wendell Pierce was talking about, he compared this disaster to Katrina. He said that it feels very much like Katrina. He said him and his family experienced Katrina the same way they experienced these fires. He said that his family in Louisiana, in New Orleans, when Katrina happened, did not get the insurance help that they needed. Okay, that there was another area, I think it was called Lakeview, another part of New Orleans. I think he was saying like the lower ward. I don't know what the number is. I'm sorry, but he was saying like the lower ward of New Orleans did not get the assistance from the insurance, but then you had like different sections of New Orleans that did get the insurance, you know, help. And he's wondering if it's going to be the same situation this time, like, oh, Palisades, because there was so much money out there anyway. Yes, they're going to get the help from the insurance, but there's Altadena and Pasadena, which is not as affluent, even though Altadena, Pasadena has many neighborhoods with people that have money and nice homes, big homes and everything. It still ain't on, it is not on the same tax bracket as Palisades. Okay. So, you know, he was just saying like, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how that worked out, but we already kind of know how they do the people, like, you know, middle class, folks and everything. We don't quite get that same kind of support. So Tyler Perry is trying to figure out how he can help. So many people want to help, but it's just like, it's so, the thought of trying to, where to even start with this is daunting, because it is just so much acreage of land just destroyed. Just destroyed. I do have good news though. Remember I told you that one of my friends, both my friends and my friends' parents, they both lost their homes. Well, we found out that one of the friends' parents whose house we thought had been lost, they were just assuming that it had been because it was in an area where all the houses had been burned down. Well, it turns out that the parents of my friend's house didn't burn down. So their house was fine. The friend, their house is gone. But their parents, at least their parents' house, is still there. So I mean, that is a little bit of a, I mean, not a little bit, that is a solace to know that some people's home, some people were getting that surprise, but very few and far in between. Most people that felt like their homes were gone, most likely their homes were gone. I don't have any direct, really close friends or family that have been affected, that I know so far. So far, my friends and family, they all live in LA down. If I lived there now, I could tell you what the cities are, because there's so many different places now, but they just they don't live up in where the brush is. They don't live in the mountains, the hills and all that. They just down in LA, child. So they good. They good. So I'm happy for that. But these fires have gotten to be so close that even my people, I've been trying not to get worried or anxious, because realistically, I don't believe that they will get affected. But you start hearing about these fires popping up everywhere, then you kind of start to get that little sniggling little feeling like, oh my God, something might happen to my dad's house. But I think for the most part, all of my people are going to be okay, you guys. But yeah, prayers up for everybody out there. I know everybody is frustrated. People are scared, don't know what they're going to do. I mean, like I said, it is daunting to try to figure out what your next move should be when your whole life is burned down. Okay, so there's that. And then again, we're gonna keep our eye on the water shortage. They have I think Gavin Newsom put in an investigation for the Department of Water and Power, and there's all these other people that are putting in lawsuits that are going to be suing. It's going to be lawsuits all over the fucking place. Okay. Did I mention also in that Chloe, I was trying to get to this part of the story. Chloe was pissed at Karen Bass and had a lot to say, saying how much you supported Chief Crowley or whatever. And then Jamil Hill had to come out and say, Chloe, is this you? You one of the Kardashians that back in 2022, you guys used over 300,000 gallons more than the mandated, what they have requested, the city has requested for everybody to use. You guys went over by 300,000 gallons. But you sitting up here, girl, go sit down and be quiet somewhere. Okay. They say that the Kardashians ended up hiring a private water department to fix their issue so they can be in compliance. But I think she was just using that as an example of, if you're gonna throw the stone, bitch, you got to make sure that your house is not glass. So there's that. I think that everybody is just upset, understandably so, and wanting to point the finger at somebody. It's probably a mixture of a bunch of people and reasons why this fire happened. The drought, the brush, the dryness, somebody setting it as well, copycat driving around setting fires, but the wind, high wind, and then this densely populated area, all these people, all these houses, when those fires hit in other areas, for the most part, usually it's in a more spread out area because that's where a lot of brush is. But in this time, it is in an area where there's just houses right next to each other. House, 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 house. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, you guys, we gonna see what happens there. I just pray for my city. I want everybody to be okay. I want these fires to be over. Like every day I turn on the news and look, and it's still just fires. People still out there fighting the fires. I know we have prisoners that are working as firefighters. That's a very common job that they've been doing for many years. It's a program. What is it called? The Rehabilitation Conservation Fire Camp Program. It's the California Department of Corrections. They have this program. They pay them $10 a day. It takes some time off of their sentence. I guess these are people that they can trust, that can be out and about, and they ain't gonna run off and all of that. But they have these people working, and it's controversial because people are saying that these are dangerous jobs, and these are jobs that fire department, if you work for the fire department, you was making $85,000 to $125,000 a year annually, and then you got these prisoners that are working for $10 a day. They're also working down their sentence and everything. It just kind of depends on how you look at it. Okay, people are feeling like they need to be paid more and all. And I mean, I guess I can understand why people think that, but I also am like, well, they're in prison and they are working to lower their sentence. And yes, I mean, it's a choice. So they have decided to work in this position, to maybe help their, it just depends on what you think about it. But, $10 a day, they in jail. Like, what are they using this money for other than to put some stuff on their books? But we do have people that are fighting to possibly get them more money. But this program has been going on a long time. I don't see them changing that program, but they're saying that it is dangerous, and it looks like it can be dangerous. Okay. So hopefully they are properly training these people. They said that over the last 10 years of the program, 4 people have died in fighting fires and things. So they haven't had any deaths. They've had some injuries, but the program has been pretty successful. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's morally wrong for them to have prisoners out there working in such a dangerous job, and then for such little pay? There's that. But anyway, you guys, we just gonna keep our eye on it. We're gonna keep our eye on it and see what happens. Joe Biden also said that he's sending out $770. Baby, that might as well have been $7.70. I was just like, I mean, I know every little bit counts and every little bit helps, but we talking about people's whole fucking lives burned down, and 770 almost feel. I mean, we couldn't round that shit off to a cool 1,000. That shit almost sounds insulting, like, oh, for $770. A family of 4, we ain't got no clothes, we ain't got no shoes, we ain't got nothing. That 770 is about to be gone before you probably even get it, But I mean, like I said, you can only do what you can do. But and we gonna see if what continues once YSAP get in office, because we already know he already don't like California. Already don't see it for California, Gavin Newsom, all them. So it's going to be interesting to see what the government does, how they, do help those people out there. But anyway, I'm going to move on because I've been talking about that shit this whole video. Yeah, we're just gonna make this video be about the fires and shit and the fallout from the fires. Okay, so let's move on to the next story. You guys also let me know what you think about all of that. Prayers up again for all of you guys that have been affected, because every time I talk to somebody or I see a story, even when we see these rich people losing everything. Yes, some people, you got to remember, some people live in those houses like they're rich when it comes to, like, on paper you see what they have, but they ain't got no fucking money. They might have this house, so they cash poor, so a lot of them may not even be able to afford to build back the way that they had houses that have been passed down in generations. Like I said, that community was a wealthy community, and so a lot of them may have been, these houses may have belonged to their parents and everything, and they pass it down and all this, and now this group might not be able to afford it, like, thank God they got it. But so it's just gonna be a lot, y'all. So we're gonna pray for everybody that's there, and I'm gonna move on to this next story. Well, this is still related to the fire. So, all of the things that are getting put on the back burner now, they're saying that the Grammys are going to take place. However, they are going to put the what is it? They're gonna put the Oscars on hold, okay? Because fuck, half of Hollywood done burned down. So the Oscars is going to be on hold. The Grammys are still going to move forward. I know that actually today, but you guys will see this tomorrow, which will make it yesterday, which is Tuesday, the 14th. Beyonce was supposed to be making an announcement about something today. But because of the fires, I knew she was going to put out a statement saying that they were going to postpone the announcement, because everybody is preoccupied with the fires. People is trying to save their fucking lives, okay, literally. So they're going to wait and let everybody know. But in the meantime, Be Good's Foundation, she has that nonprofit organization where she helps people. They have donated $2.5 million to the fire, which is a lot of money. But again, when you talk about the areas and everything, even that 2.5 ain't gonna go too far. But it's definitely still needed, still necessary. I have seen a lot of people out there putting up links for different GoFundMe's and different things. There's people out there that are giving clothes and food and diapers and formula. There's a lot of things that you don't even think of. And it's funny, while I'm talking about this, when I listen to the Friend Zone podcast, that's really the only podcast that I listen to. But they've had, and if you guys listen to them too, then you already know what I'm about to say. But they've had different segments where they've talked about like getting together these disaster bags, or like if something happened and you needed to like grab a bag that had like all of the stuff that you needed. And it's funny because they've done so many different shows on it, and I usually listen when I walk Blue, and I would just be like, you guys act like it's fixing to be like the end of the damn world or something. Like that was always my thought. But I would always listen because they talked about it quite a bit. And I just laughed to myself because I was just like, then listen, they've been talking about these fucking bags for the longest. And I kind of like low key thought it was ridiculous. But look at what happened. Okay. Like if you had one of them bags that they was talking about, you was 100% prepared for whatever happened. If you had to just jump up and leave, if you purchase one of those bags. It was just really interesting that they had that. And I just, I was just like, oh, well, they've been talking about it. They've been talking about these bags. It is a reason for them, obviously. That just popped into my mind. Let me get back on track here. So yeah, the shit has been child. Hold on, it's hot. I had the heater on, but bitch, I'm fixing the shit. It's only 30. It's only like 35 degrees outside, but bitch, it's about 100 degrees in this damn car to open this door. Some shit. Ooh. Okay, y'all. Let me just cool off for a little while. All right, so Beyonce put her thing off. We also have I think the name of the movie is Just One of Them Days. It's the movie that's starring Keke Palmer and SZA. Is done by Issa Rae and another gentleman. They're the ones that wrote and directed the movie or whatever. But Keke and SZA, like I have been looking forward to seeing this movie. It comes out this week. They were supposed to be having their premiere today, Tuesday. They're out in Hollywood, but of course, again, it got postponed, or well, it just got canceled because they're not going to have a premiere for a movie after it's already out. So it just won't be happening. But I wanted the movie to do well, so hopefully people are still going to get out and see it. But that looks like it's going to be good too. But yeah, there's a lot of celebrities that are again fighting for their lives, child. fighting for their lives. And Janae Aiko, she was one of the people when I was saying, like, folks are celebrities. Yes, they make good money or whatever, but folks ain't just got millions of dollars laying around to replace their house, especially if they have insurance issues. If insurance get to tripping, it's going to be a lot of people that can't afford to replace it. And Hollywood is going through its weird whatever too, even still, even though the strike is over, it still feels like they haven't recovered all the way. It still feels like Hollywood is still going through some shit. People are still trying to figure out they pay and they money and everything. These streaming services taking advantage and not paying the people. Y'all saw the guy that did the Squid Games. I still haven't even seen that show, but he's talking about how he could barely afford, like he wasn't going to do a Squid Games 2 because they paid him so little and he was so fucking stressed out he was losing his teeth. Bitch, you know what kind of stressed out you got to be, your teeth falling out just willy-nilly, so he was just like, I wasn't even gonna do it. But then they came correct for that second movie. Now they say they're doing a season 3, but second season, I mean. But now they're saying they're doing a season 3. But yeah, Hollywood is still trying to get it together, so we're gonna see just how this fire goes, you guys. Anyway, I'm gonna get off of it. I got other stuff to talk about. That's all about the fire and all the topics. I feel like I was rambling a little bit, but hopefully I was able to get all of my stories in. All right, that's it. All right, you guys, let me get on off of here. We do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure you come back.